Ladies and gentlemen, today I wanted to share with you the truth about Bitcoin, the things that you need to know about Bitcoin in 2019 and beyond. So without further ado, let's hash it out. I'm sure many of us remember in 2017 riding high on $20,000 Bitcoin prices, and then spending the entirety of 2018 wondering why Bitcoin had been dropping and dropping and dropping so low. And now in 2019, constantly finding the volatility of Bitcoin, making us question whether or not the market's being manipulated, wondering whether we're gonna see those all-time highs again, or if all of this bull market talk is just fool's gold. Well, today I wanted to come here and give you my reasoning for why Bitcoin's price doesn't really matter. Over the years, I've found that the more that I check the Bitcoin price online and the more I swipe on my phone trying to wait for that next bull run move, the more anxious and stressed that I become. I find myself losing the reason why I'm passionate about Bitcoin in the first place and why I believe it's so valuable over the long term. To many people, Bitcoin is really their get-rich-quick scheme. They believe that if they buy Bitcoin now, then they're gonna have a $100,000 Bitcoin within the next 6 months, and that's guaranteed. And the reality is that that's not the case. We have no way of knowing whether or not Bitcoin's gonna go up, down, sideways, and in what time period we could see the value move a certain way. No one can really answer these questions. Ultimately, though, we have to look at what the value is for Bitcoin and why people care about it. And I think if you live in the US or the UK or Europe or another place on earth where we're relatively blessed and lucky to have the wealth that we do, to have the standard of living that we do, it's easy to lose the point of what Bitcoin is all about. And because of that fact, it's really easy for us to get hung up in price and our constant move towards trying to earn more wealth and to build more wealth. But ultimately, Bitcoin was not about building wealth. Bitcoin was about freedom to use money, to make sound money that is not inflationary and is not controlled by one central authority. There are places all over the world, like Venezuela most recently, where the government took their currency and inflated it to the point where their currency was worth nothing, and people could no longer afford to buy basic things like food, housing, clothing, medicine, etc. All of those things were out of reach. And for people like those in Venezuela, Bitcoin is not just a theory or a concept. It's not just a way that they can get rich. It's not just a way that they can invest and speculate. It's daily life for them. And I think that's where the point gets missed. Bitcoin is providing these people a way out. It's providing people a lifeline when their own currency and their own economic situation is out of control. And that is the reason why Bitcoin is important. We could talk a lot about the economics of Bitcoin, how there are 21 million or less Bitcoins that will ever be in existence and available for people to own, and speculate about how many people will be in demand for Bitcoin, and as such, what the price is going to be. And I'm not saying that that's not important, and I'm not saying there isn't a case for that. But my main point is that we want Bitcoin to be used for what it was intended for, and that's to be a method by which we can exchange value with one another, a method by which people that don't have access to a currency that is successful, that don't have access to a form of exchange or a method of exchange that they can really use for anything, provides them a way out. It provides them an opportunity to have that right to transact. And ultimately, whether or not Bitcoin becomes a true store of value, whether or not it becomes that $100,000, $1 million per Bitcoin asset that everyone thinks it will be, that doesn't even really matter. If Bitcoin does continue to provide a safe haven for people who just want to survive, then in my mind, it's a success. And lately, I've been trying to think more about that and less about the price. And this isn't me sitting up on my high horse and saying all of the people who are listening about price and talking about price, well, you guys are selfish. Not the case. More so, I'm trying to draw attention to the fact that Bitcoin is successful. And regardless of where the price moves and how volatile it is, Bitcoin is doing what it was intended to do. And we're all along for the ride, so we might as well just enjoy it. Of course, I wholeheartedly believe in Bitcoin and the future that it offers a lot of people. I believe that Bitcoin's value is going to go up in the future. This isn't financial advice, just to be clear, but that is my personal opinion and belief. However, I'm trying to reframe the concept of what Bitcoin means and hone back in on why Bitcoin is important. And in light of that, I wanted to open it up to you guys. Let me know in the comments down below what your number one favorite thing about Bitcoin is and what it means to you. What is your vision for what Bitcoin is going to become in the future? And of course, I will try and respond and highlight as many of these comments as possible, and I'm really excited to see what you guys have to say. And with that, guys, I hope that you'll consider subscribing to the channel and clicking that little bell notification button, because I have all sorts of content about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency on the channel right now, and I will continue to post every single week. I'm super excited to have you guys here, and I appreciate all the time you spend on my channel. Cheers.